Fighting for justice matters, and in the history of humanity, a lot of times, most of the time, it has been art on the forefront of that battle. Art pushing the conversation forward, art making people think, art making people feel things that maybe they didn't know that they even could feel or needed to feel. So this is really important, is what I'm saying. This matters. This is more than just like a couple guys playing some songs and a guy making a film. What this is actually creativity, people's gifts and skills and talents being used for something other than themselves, which is a little bit, I'll say rare. I think I'm finally waking up now. I met the man in the mirror for the first time in a long time. I didn't cringe at what I saw. I'm not fixed, but doing well. I'm learning self-regard. It isn't selfish. It isn't selfish. I'm doing daily affirmations to the rhythm of my running in the mornings and ignoring the voices that say it isn't prayer. I'm not fixed, but doing well. I'm learning self-regard. It isn't selfish. No, I'm not fixed, but doing well. I'm learning self-regard. It isn't selfish. It isn't selfish. Making progress, seeing Shanda, digging for deeper understanding, tracing the tangled roots down. They're starting to lose their grip. Neighbor love is predicated on the way you love yourself. It's no wonder I went under for so damn long, but couldn't tell. I'm not fixed, but doing well. I'm learning self-regard. It isn't selfish. No, I'm not fixed, but doing well. I'm learning self-regard. It isn't selfish at all. It isn't selfish. So here we go. This is called I Really Do Love You. I really do love you. You gotta believe me. I mean it when I say it. When we hang up the phone, I really do love you. It's more than a feeling. I think about you all the time when I'm not at home, and it's something unconditional. Hard eyes, little pet names and everything. Nothing I really do love you. My volcanic lightning, a natural phenomenon in human disguise. I really do love you. Without you beside me, I'd be some other creature that we don't recognize. 'Cause I'm so unintentional, and you've got your reasons for everything. It's nothing unconventional. Just good old-fashioned love. I love the way you were made. I love the way you were made. I love the way you were made. I really do love you. You gotta believe me, I mean it when I say it. When we hang up the phone, I really do love you. It's so good to be me, 'cause you're the one who's standing there when I get back home. It's somewhat mythological. I still can't believe we are doing this. It's nothing unconventional. I remember the chords, I promise. It's good old-fashioned love. Thank you. All right. So one very cool thing is that the other two guys who are playing tonight, Veronica is here. Nice. Good to see you. Glad you came out. That's awesome. Her name's Victoria. Every time I see her, I call her Veronica. Don't know why. But this song's called Sons and Brothers. And you know, all of us, all of our families at one point or another, in my experience and of seeing friends go through things, you know, you get sucker punched by life. And I hesitate to say it's inescapable, but it happens, and that's part of what we're doing here tonight. It's part of what the film is about. And so this song came from when my family got sucker punched. And so this is called Sons and Brothers. It's in the key of A, if anybody was wondering. I assume no one was wondering. Sons and brothers. Try that again. Sons and brothers from my mother's side of the tree. Grew up in a sturdy house. One gray morning without warning, a tragedy. The roof blew off and the walls came down. And I don't claim to understand the pain you're standing in or the heat of the cold you're walking on. Someday soon I hope you know there's a bridge to take you home, but I can only show you the way. Show you the way. Sons and brothers with one another coped with the loss of comfort and familiarity. They found themselves on distant paths they'd never cross. sons, remember you were brothers. Don't forget the truth. Remember you were sons, remember you were brothers. It's what defines you. And I don't claim to understand the pain you're standing in or the heat of the goals you're walking on. Someday soon I hope you know there's a bridge to take you home, and I can only show you the way. Show you the way. I hope I can show you the way. Thanks. Thank you. I got one more for you. Close enough. I have no light of my own, just a dim pearlescent reflection of those beams that travel from light years away, consoling nocturnal souls. Did the one thing you're not supposed to do, look over into the camera. I have no warmth to extend, no brilliance burning from somewhere within. I'm hung in the night to the prophesied day, then disappearing to go. I am the moon. The morning is coming soon. I am the moon. So just hold on a little longer. My power pushes and pulls, the maker of breakers and maestro to wolves. Everyone knows it's only a phase. I'm filled up to fade again. Invite some friends up. I 'cause I'm large, a fraction of full, crescently swimming in shimmering dew, waxing poetic, the second-hand rays, and waning to paper thin. Hey, loud as you can, come on now. I am the moon, and morning is coming soon. I am the moon, just hold on. So just hold on. Beautiful. A little longer. The ending is better than that usually. Oh, here it is. There you go. Thank you. Dirty roots and all. Hey, I want to bring up Mason. Where'd you go? Hey, why don't you come up and say a little bit about your project. Give it up for Sasquatch!
I made such a mistake being someone that kind of gets emotional sometimes. I really shouldn't have asked these guys that just write emotional songs, because that just gets you like all... But, you know, every time that I have a meeting with my producers, or I can hear it, I always start it with gratitude, because it just kind of squashes all fear or anxiety that I have about it. So I'm going to do that here. This is really cool.
Yes.
Felicia, you're not helping. It's so Troy's my dad. If you want to read these stories back here, there's two that aren't my father, and you can guess which one if you want. Troy was wrongfully convicted, and nobody really liked us because we had a felony, you know. So thanks. This is really cool. You're doing a good job. Okay. That's enough gratitude for now. So, I've always been fascinated with perspective. I love, like humans, we have so many different perspectives. Like, all of us here, we're all experiencing something different. And if we were to play that back in a movie, it'd be completely different for all of us. And that's what movies do. They allow us to put ourselves as like an orca in captivity. I'm not gonna look at you anymore, Mom, because that's just gonna make me cry. Or yeah, maybe you're an orca in captivity, and then we hate SeaWorld, right? Or you know you're off in the far galaxy, far away, fixing droids. Like there's millions of perspectives for us to get to, and that's what film does. It allows us to kind of test drive a perspective, and that's what I'm trying to do with this. Well, okay, we got it, guys. There's a lot. We went through a lot as a family. But I didn't really want to do any of this. That's because I'm your son. You cry all the time too. Okay. I got asked to do this. My dad's attorneys found out I was a filmmaker, I guess, and so they're like, you should do this. And that was like 3 years ago. Like, no, this sounds awful. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have to like sit with all this stuff that I've put out in my memory. But then it started eating at me, and I did research. Been doing the research for like 7 months. This happens a lot. And I knew I couldn't just sit by and let it happen to my kids. So that's why I'm doing it. Anyway, there's some crazy stats out there, guys. 98% of all federal cases are settled through plea bargains. And in half of the US, there's no law that prevents the DA from hiding evidence of your innocence. Any of us here, we all live in Texas. Any of us here, they can hide evidence that we're innocent and still get us to take a plea. That is messed up. 2% go to court. 2% go to trial. Why? Why does that happen? I don't know. So that's why we're making this thing. We're making this thing to make a change. We could have done this. I could have probably met someone super rich, maybe. And they could have funded the whole thing. But I want a movement. I want people to be angry about this. I want songs to be written, you know? One of my favorite songs is Hurricane by Bob Dylan. Because it was written about a wrongful conviction. If you don't know it, it's really long. So it's fine if you don't listen to it, but it's good. All of my notes went out the window whenever I started crying, so now I'm just trying to think about what I need to hit on. I'm thankful for you guys to be here. This documentary, my family's story, it'll be told from a perspective that I can tell. Someone that's experienced what it's like. God, one more step, because it eats at me. 48% of all wrongful convictions are by blacks. Black people get convicted wrongfully. 48%. They make up 13% of the population. Tell me that's not messed up. Something's broken. So, I don't know. Brett, please come back up. There's a reason why I asked Brett to be the MC and not me.
Well, I think, don't apologize for tears. You didn't apologize for tears, but if you weren't reacting the way that you were reacting, and if you weren't feeling viscerally those emotions, that would be messed up. You know what I mean? So let's jump on board. We're trying to raise at least 10 grand, okay, to push this, very unapologetically push this agenda of justice, of righting things that have been wrong and broken for a long time.
Amen.
So let's do it. There's a QR code on those cards. You can give there. You can walk up to Mason and ask him where to give. You can walk up to me or MASSIVESAD right here, or Logan. You can just find somebody. Just ask until you find the right person, okay? But that's the goal tonight, is to fund a movement, something that is actually going to make an impact. So part of that is that we get to hear one of my best friends, Seth, aka MASSIVESAD. Yeah, so this is Seth. He's a songwriter, he's a producer, he is a son and a brother, and a friend, and just tune in. Like, ignore the airplane sounds, which that is crazy that there are people up there in that thing. So just ignore everything else and tune in for a second, because Seth has things to say. So without further ado, Massive Sad.
Careful. These stages are old. Man. I didn't want to give anything away. I was going to try to have a little bit of mystique about these songs that I write, but my emotions also are not going to allow me to do that. When I was an 8th grader, going into my freshman year of high school, a very pivotal and developmental stage in anybody's lives, my dad was wrongfully convicted of fraud, investment fraud, and he didn't really have a shot at combating that. Now, I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, so I don't actually know what kind of state that is when it falls in line with the 50% statistic that Sasquatch shared, but there was a man who was going to be promoted if he could get a conviction, and my dad hadn't done anything wrong, and it destroyed my family's life. He went to prison for over 1.5 years. It's really terrible. And I needed my dad to be around. And now I'm 31, and I've seen the way that it's affected me, and I've seen the way it's affected my little brother and my older brother. Just to have people here tonight and support is a really powerful thing. So thank you guys for being here and for listening and bearing with us as we cry in front of you and try to tell stories that need to be told desperately. I'm going to play the song that I wrote for the film last, just because that's the way you do it. But this is a song that I call I Want It Now, and I wrote it after the Uvalde school shooting last year. We'll see if it comes out of my vocal cords, but it's just a song about really desiring the world to change and being impatient about that, wanting to see that change happen now. And yeah.
Memory's been working overtime, and today I had another flashback while driving when I realized I'll never be a child again. So I'm sitting at the stoplight crying, 'cause I'd forgotten about Chariots of Fire when it came up on the radio and took me back to 99. Now every time I close my eyes, I dream. And it's almost like it's on the TV screen. and I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. I booked another flight to the mountains. I've gotta see my brother and my best friend, 'cause something isn't right and the gas is too high to drive. And I hate to spend $1 more than I got, but in a minute I know it'll be an afterthought. And I really don't mind this poverty line that I ride, because every time I close my eyes I dream. And it's almost like I feel them next to me. And I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. I want it now. I woke up in the morning with a stomach ache, 'cause they killed a bunch of kids in their school yesterday, and they're supposed to be secure, but the system isn't pure anymore. And I remember standing in my homeroom, pledging my allegiance to the red, white, and blue, and I really can't believe what this world's coming to. Oh well, I guess I can believe what this world's coming to. But I'm so impatient, I want it to be made now. Oh yes, I'm so impatient, I want it to be made. And I want it now. 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 I want it now.
It's called The Garbage Behind My Old Apartment.
None of my friends want anything new. I don't blame them, but what can I do? When everything ends after a year or two, and nothing lasts forever. But I don't wanna dump my life in the garbage behind my old apartment. I don't wanna add to the pile of miles and miles and miles of things that I've forgotten. I just wanna plant a garden in the backyard of a home that I found for me. Ooh. Some of my friends are moving on too. I know I'll miss them, but what can I do? Ooh. When everything ends, if it's good for you, and I'll have to say goodbye, goodbye. But I don't wanna dump my life in the garbage behind my old apartment. I don't wanna add to the pile of miles and miles and miles of things that I've forgotten. I just wanna plant a garden in the backyard of a home that I found for me and you. Prepare this ground to plant right here. The only seed that I believe might grow for me, the smallest thing to eat. And over this, I've been protecting myself from the sound that hurts my ears. I'll say it now, but you won't hear the way drowns the voices out. Goodbye escaping from my mouth never comes out sounding quite as sweet as the apples growing overhead from all the seeds I planted underneath my feet. But I don't want to dump in the garbage behind my old apartment. I don't want to add to the pile the miles and miles and miles of things that I've forgotten. I just want to plant a garden in the backyard of a home that I found for me.
Gift of poetry and songwriting is you discover a lot about yourself, and certainly all art, painting and filmmaking, and you realize you've been leaving breadcrumbs for yourself, maybe your child, your inner child, and you find it at the end of the project. So I really want to see this film finished and made, and I'm gonna weep. So I don't know, just maybe listen to this song abstractly, but consider the wounds that need healing that you maybe have yet to discover. The song is called Jellyfish.
Sweating at the river house, the taste of Armageddon in your mouth. So upset you got the pistol out. Put your temple up next to mine. Said you've been thinking about suicide. You're asking me to have an open mind. And I was Portuguese man of war wrapped around you from your life before, the kind of venom that you can't ignore. The sting can leave its victim paralyzed. Your arm is drooping back down to your side. If you can hear me, then blink 3 times. I understand you gotta say it out loud. I know it's hard for you to make a sound, but you've been quiet for a while now. At least it's keeping you from firing that pin and sending bullets through the both of our heads. I'd like to comment on one thing you said. You said I was worried I'd have to move again. And now I'm worried I'll lose another friend. determined you deserve to go through hell, but you get lonely sinking by yourself. Wish you would take me with you anywhere else. Sometimes there's nothing much left to say, and I can hear you and I'm not afraid, and ask you gently put the gun away. 'Cause I was worried I'd have to move again. And now I'm worried I'll lose another friend.
Okay, so the story that I told you at the beginning when I was crying is true. And I was thinking while I was playing my second song, I don't even know if my dad would be willing to come to something like this, just because of how much it hurt him and changed his life and hacked down his pride and cost him friends that he never remade. Like there are gaps in my father's life as a result of that time. And speaking of gaps, I have memory gaps from that time just because it was a traumatic period, and if you know anything about trauma, you know more than I do, but basically I don't remember a lot of that time, and it's all really fuzzy. If you hear me talk about it, you'll say, when I was this age or this age, because I know the environment I was in, and I can kind of like count backwards to that time, but a lot of it's really fuzzy just because of the nature of the overload of your brain. Recently I heard the definition of trauma, something like, I'm going to butcher it, but just the result of when you're overwhelmed to the point of not being able to handle what you're experiencing. And that's a disgrace to the actual definition that I heard. But one memory I do have is, I have a few memories, but one that came up the other day when I was thinking about what to write for this, I was thinking about how the lack of grieving that my family did, and then also the lack of healing that still persists in our family. And I just lost my train of thought because it's like sending me into this. But I have this memory from the hearing where they took my dad away, and the prosecutor guy who was in for a promotion, if he could, nail my dad's proverbial coffin, had been pointed out to me, and I'm a kid, so I'm short, tiny, frail, like a bunny basically, and in the midst of the hearing I walk into the bathroom to use the restroom, and that man walked into the bathroom as well, just to use the restroom, and I just have this vague emotional impulse of feeling a concoction, like a mixture of terror, disbelief, lack of understanding, confusion, and anger and frustration in knowing that I couldn't do anything, and this person was just going about his business, doing normal life stuff. Certainly knew, because it's not like the Judge Judy courtroom that your dad's taking you from. It's a small room with 15 to 20 people in it who have to be there. And so I know that he knew who I was. He knew I was one of 3 boys of this man that he was about to put in prison for no reason. And for some reason that's just stuck in my brain. I didn't really have any thoughts. I couldn't do anything about it, but I just remembered knowing that that's who that man was in the most mundane of environments. So I'm really praying that I can remember all of these lyrics because I finished it Wednesday. And I wrote it on piano again. I'll sing a train. But currently this song is called Don't Cry For Me, I'm Already Gone. And it's the first thing I've ever written about any of this. So we'll see what happens.
Sitting in a wooden seat, watching them take you from me. I don't quite understand, you didn't do anything wrong. Is a song, is a song, is a song, is a song. And right is a knife, it's a knife, it's a knife. So you slip away through the door. I may not see you anymore. They let you turn for long enough to say these words. Don't cry for me, I'm already gone. When you watch me leave, this moment will haunt you. So save all your tears for someone who wants them. But don't cry for me, I'm already gone. Already gone. Already gone. Mom pointing out that that's the guy who's taking pride in ruining your lives. What a thing to hear before you're walking in the bathroom door to take a piss on my right. And time is a lie, is a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. And your crimes were a life, were my life, were my brothers and my mother's lives. So you zip your pants just like any man, then you wash your hands of us. You take the stand where you demand the rest of our lives be fucked. You said, don't cry for me, I'm already gone. If you watch me leave, this moment will haunt you. So save all your tears for someone who wants them. But Don't cry for me. He's already gone. And wrong is a song, is a song, is a song. And right is a knife, it's a knife, it's a knife. And time is a lie, it's a lie, it's a lie. And crimes is a life, was a life, was a life. Don't cry for me. I'm already gone. If you watch me leave, this moment will haunt you. So save all your tears for someone who wants them, but don't cry for me. I'm already gone.
It would mean a lot to me if you would support this film. That's all I've got to say. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, let's thank MASSIVESAD. Yeah, MASSIVESAD. It's awesome. Thank y'all for being here. I want to say you can scan the QR code on the card to give. You can also go to wilcodoc.com and you can read articles. You can learn about these cases and these stories, because these are real people with real stories. They're not just like court cases. But go to wilcodoc.com and you can read more about that and be more informed about what we're all singing about and what we're all giving towards and what we're all kind of rallying behind. So wilcodoc.com. Okay, I want to invite Troy up here to share a little bit. So Troy, come on up. Let's get for Troy.
All right. Well, I am my son's father, which means that hopefully I'll keep my eyes dry. I want to give you a little backstory before we get started. So, first off, my beautiful wife is Amy. Amy, wave at us. So, I think it's important for you to have this backstory before I tell you my story. I met my wife when I was 11. I used to go to her yard and go to her house and mow her yard. She'd come out with a silver tray and cookies on it. I knew I was going to marry her. When she graduated high school, I dropped out and married her because I wasn't going to let her go to college without me. She forced me to go back to night school to get my high school diploma so I could join the United States Air Force. And I served my country with distinction and honor. And her and I were married for probably 8.5 years. when I had a run-in with the police. And my run-in was that I had a marijuana pipe. I didn't have marijuana, I just had a marijuana pipe. Now let's be up front, I smoked marijuana in that pipe. But it was in Williamson County. And so I got arrested for that, I was told it probably wasn't going to be a big deal. A week later, I get a phone call at my house where the Round Rock Police Department asked me to come up and see them. I'm thinking, I'm 26, so they didn't have CSI and all that stuff that we have today. So I'm worried that they're coming after me and trying to get my dealer. That wasn't the case. And so instead, they put me in a room and they accused me of the most heinous crime that I could think of man being accused of, and that's sexually assaulting a 4-year-old child. And I was absolutely devastated. I am beside myself, and I'm telling them, I want out of this room, I want out of this room. And they said, well, I tell you what, you can leave. We're not holding you here. You're not under arrest. We're just questioning you. But if you leave, I want you to know I have a police officer right around the corner from Amy. And as soon as you get out of here, I'm going to have DPS take your children away from your wife, and you won't see them again until this is settled. Or you can stay here and talk to me. Amy and I stayed there. I stayed there. I do not know how many hours I stayed there before ultimately they called my wife in, and they brought my oldest son with them. They talked to him, and ultimately they couldn't find anything that I had done wrong with my children. They told me to go home, but they were going to file charges against me. My world is completely rocked. I ran Dell's Auto Parts here in Austin. I had managed 3 of their stores. Amy and I were doing pretty good. We were headed down a very successful road as managers. And my world stopped. And the first thing I thought of is, we got to get some help. And we were just above poverty level at that time. So we went to her parents, and they helped us find an attorney. And so I'm going to make this as short as I possibly can. But for the better half of 14 months, I fought Williamson County. They kept telling me they had all kinds of evidence against me. They told me they had a videotape of the little girl saying what I did. They said they had a doctor who will testify of evidence of what I supposedly did. It was horrible what they were telling me they had against me, which I knew they couldn't have anything against me because I did not do this. So I couldn't imagine what evidence they could possibly have, but my attorney's telling me, first off, I'm in Williamson County. And if any of you guys know anything about Williamson County, you don't want to get in trouble in Williamson County. And I was told that they have, for the last 3.5 years prior to me getting arrested, they have a 100% conviction rate. That means that if you're arrested, you will be convicted 100% of the time. They're offering me 25 years to life in prison. Then they stacked 2 more charges on top of that and forced me with the idea of 99 years to life in prison. Now, if you get to know me, you're going to learn 2 things about me. I absolutely love my wife, okay? And shortly after this, I fell in love with God. But I love my wife. And there was no way. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old at home. It's impossible for me to think that I could spend one night away from her. And how could she possibly survive with 2 little ones? She wasn't working. I was the sole provider in my family, which I absolutely loved. And I didn't know how I was going to do this, but I was fighting them tooth and nail. I will not go to jail. I will not go to jail. I will not go to jail. And so finally they came down to me. I was set for trial 7 times. The court had ordered them to give me all exculpatory evidence. That means any evidence they have that shows my innocence, they had to give it to me. 2 weeks after I got arrested, they found evidence that the little girl who supposedly said this about me was saying a completely different story than what the police had reported. 8 months later, they find out that the little girl was saying, absolutely nothing happened. Mr. Mansfield was good to me. They didn't do anything. There's nothing. But instead of dismissing a case, which Williamson County does not dismiss cases back then, they decided they're going to push me and push me and push me. Now, a little side note, you may know about a guy named Michael Morton.
Yep.
Michael Morton was arrested for the murder of his wife in 1986. The same DA, Ken Anderson, was my DA. And he hid evidence. He had Don Woods, which was the police investigator, hide evidence that he wouldn't give over to the prosecutor so that he could go after him and get him convicted for a murder he did not commit. And he served 24 years in prison when finally the truth came out and they found out that the guy who actually did the murder committed another murder in Austin 2 months later. And this guy, all because of, like what you were saying, a notch in his belt because he wanted to become a judge. He wanted to have a 100% conviction rate. Now, 5 years later, I'm standing before that same guy. He's my DA. And I'm telling him, I am not going to jail. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to jail. And on my 7th time being set for trial, they were ordered to give over exculpatory evidence. They didn't. The 7th time I was set for trial, they introduced the new DA who's going to handle my case, which was Assistant U.S. Attorney Michael Juergens. And Michael Juergens now was going to be the DA to prosecute me. And his response to my attorney was, he better accept a plea in 15 minutes, because if he doesn't, I'm going to stick his butt under the jail. And he added some expletives in there. And so they offered me 10 years probation, 120 days weekend jail time. So I could stay home, I could live with my wife and my children, and I'd have to serve weekend jail time. I hate to admit, but back then, my first question is, what does that mean? I'm going to have to register as a sex offender? I mean, that's new to me. I'd never even heard of that. What does that mean? Well, only the police back then could know that you were registered. There was no website. There was nobody else will know. It's just the police. All you got to worry about is just your neighbor will never know. Now, 2 years later, they changed that law, and it became where your name was in the newspaper. Then it became on a website. Then they wanted to force you to put it on your license plate. Then they wanted you to put a sign on your door. So I spent 23 years as a registered sex offender. And I tried desperately to raise my boys to where they were shielded from this. They did not know. And you guys really didn't understand why we moved so much. We had neighbors that came over and said, we're going to petition your yard Saturday if you're not out by Friday. We will be walking in front of your house with signs until you move. I'm moving. I want you to know that what they ended up finding out after Michael Morton did his case, they reviewed my case. I hired an attorney to review my case. And when they found my case, the DA, which I believe was Jana Duty at the time, she came in and set the papers in front of my attorney and said, first off, I want to apologize, and I am so glad that Troy didn't spend years in prison. And they opened it up, and there's all kinds of exculpatory evidence in there showing that I'm innocent, and they were ordered to give it to me and never did. Here's the deal. This is the reason why I want this made. There are 103 million people today that they can be arrested for a crime. They can have a video that you didn't do it, and the prosecutor can hide that video, lie to you about the evidence that they have, and force you into a plea. 98% of all felonies are settled through pleas. So that means, first off, our district, the 5th district, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, those are the 5th district. That's the biggest district, 39 million people, 39 million people. There's 29 million in Texas alone. 39 million people live in that district. If you live just over the Red River, if you live in Oklahoma and you get arrested for a crime, they have to, before they allow you to accept a plea, they have to give all exculpatory evidence to you. They have to turn over their entire file to the judge for him to review it in camera and see if there's any exculpatory evidence to be able to make sure that you're not accepting a plea when we have evidence you didn't do this. But for whatever reason, our circuit has now doubled down on this. I took them to court. I went to the Fifth Circuit. I lost. Why did I lose? They simply said, we don't think that evidence should be turned over to you. We think if we have exculpatory evidence and you're willing to accept a plea, we should force you into that plea. I went to the Supreme Court with this, and they denied to even hear the case. Now, I don't understand that. They get over 7,000 cases up there. They only see 70. Boy, that's a big problem with our Supreme Court, but that's a whole other documentary. Amen?
I'll work on it.
So my heart is this. I do not want to see another man or woman be charged with a crime and be forced to make a decision. Am I going to stay home and take care of my wife and children? Or am I going to roll the dice and spend 25 years to life in prison, and my wife will have to raise my children alone? I loved her since I was 11. There's no way that I would go away from her. Now, I think these guys knew that, and they forced me into a plea, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else. If they have evidence of your innocent, doggone it, they ought to give it over to you. They shouldn't force people into a plea, and they shouldn't build their career off of somebody else's back. Amen? So that's what this is about. We need to raise awareness. This cannot be happening in this country. We're 2023 and people are still getting railroaded like this. It should not happen. Amen? Amen. Hey, give. Amen. I know how tough it is sometimes to give, but you want to talk about a cause? This is a cause that can change people's lives. Amen. Give.
Big joy.
Troy, thanks for sharing that story. Listen, there is, this is really cool news. There is a person who has given and has said, I will meet dollar for dollar anything that we raise tonight and in the future, up to 30 grand. Yeah. Yeah, remember earlier whenever I was saying we want to raise at least 10? Somebody has committed to meeting dollar for dollar up to 30 grand. So that's huge. Thank y'all for being here. Again, wilcodoc.com. You can read more, you can learn more, and you can give there. You can give on the card, the QR code. Just scan that in your phone. Thank you for being here. This matters. This matters a lot. And if Troy's first-hand account and story has not moved you and convinced you, then I don't know what to tell you. But this is a cause and a movement that matters. So up next, we've got one more songwriter to share tonight. My man, Wildman.
2 more hours of terrible sleep before I waste my grinding teeth. 2 more pills to help relieve it, and I try to reach elusive peace instead. I'm stuck. I never find it though I try my best, because it's all this crying every night in bed. But you thought dead wrong. Bet you think you know the reason, but you don't. The expression on your stupid face is wrong. Wrong. Dead wrong. I was trying to do the right thing, man. That's why I told you everything. I jumped your hoops, so I'm confused. Why should I explain myself to you? I'm stuck. Either way, I prove myself, it's not enough. Expression on your stupid face is wrong. The villain I resemble in your thoughts is wrong, dead wrong. Bet you think that you're the reason, but you're not. The villain I resemble in your thoughts is wrong, dead wrong. The only way to get through is simply to go through. So open up my book and tell me who is who. 'Cause I'm still trying to sort it, what's important to you. Guess every detail isn't, especially if true. Believe it to be true, believe in what I'm due, but I can't. Believe it to be true, believe in what I'm due, I can't. Well, is it true? Is it helpful? I know it's necessary. So can I just say the one thing that's dying to be heard? Oh, my lips are burning, I can't help but touch them. Is the sweat you're seeing gonna send me off to hell? Believe it to be true, believe in what I'm due, but I can't. Believe it to be true, believe in what I'm due, I can't. Every detail is important to me. Every detail is important to me. So at the end of the day, ambition was too loud, and you could not hear a thing I tried to signal out. But every truth has something that only it can say, that you could never stand to stare that in the face.
All three of us write very emotional songs. We're all going through it tonight. And I always remember on nights like this that you go on a ride and you go down and down and down. You're just kind of living in the darker parts of life for an hour and a half or two. Like it's been said so many different ways tonight, honest art pushes back darkness in the world, in ourselves. It happens in here first, you know. Honesty, light coming through. Leonard Cohen has a amazing song in one of my favorite songs. He says, ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. And that's where the light comes through. And that's how I think about our dark and honest songs. I think it brings healing. I knew a man named Huntingson. He ran the youth group for the kids. He had the love of our mothers and he had the trust of us all. I wonder before could we have known what you would do and who you would harm. Sam was prescribed amphetamines. He took 5 times his daily dose. He couldn't sleep, so he oblivioned. He drank till the lights would go out. I wonder before, could I have known what you would do and who you would harm? The people who knew you best, they said there were 2 versions of you. Well, which one was true? They'd go on mission to Dominican. They'd take church trips alone. He'd make their bed and he'd sleep in then the lights would go out. I wonder before, could we have known what you would do and who you would harm? The people who knew you best, they said there were 2 versions of you. Which one was true? The people who knew you best, they said there were 2 versions of you. Well, which one of you knew? Which one of you knew? Which one of you who sounds so sad? 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 So
sun so sad. Ooh, sun so sad. Ooh, sun so sad. The other would do. Which one of you knew? Which one of you knew? I need to know for me too. Oh, hey, babe, would you meet me in the basement? I'm lower than anything. I'm feeling it. Oh, hey, babe, you know I really need you. We got things we need to do. But I'm feeling it. Today I wake unscathed, but feeling anxious. Which way to take? I'm all too bloody anchored. I'll stay right here, coward, just digging in, kicking himself. Hey, babe, would you walk me to the kitchen? We could sit down and eat a bit. If you're feeling it. Today, what's today? I'm afraid, I'm feeling aimless, but I'm less ashamed with finer miseration, taking time away. Help me realize again, I'm not quite there, but that doesn't matter now that you're here. And today, fuck today, I'm not scared, not feeling anxious, but I'm not prepared to face it without you hanging on my hand. Help me realize again, I don't have to understand. I'm not quite there, but that doesn't matter now that you're here.
Thank you all very much. Thank you so much for coming. Please, please, please tell all your friends about this. Tell your rich friends about this. And let's raise some support for this. But you come back?
Woo! Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. This is, it's something that matters, and I'm going to give you a few more action steps. You can, once again, wilcodoc.com. That's where you can learn more. 2, give on the QR code on the cards. Okay. 3, there is a podcast that is about to start where it's Mason, or Sasquatch, as you may know him, and his dad, Troy, interviewing other folks who were wrongfully convicted and experts on that subject. And so tune into that, be on the lookout for that. Follow Mason, follow all these guys who have played, and just stay in tune with what's going on. And let's do this thing. Yeah? Okay. One last thing before you go. If you have not, there's some stories on the back wall here, going all the way down across from the bar. There's some stories, and if you're standing in front of them, just move in like 3 minutes. That's all I ask. I'm looking at you. Just kidding. There's some stories on the back of folks who have been wrongfully convicted and through plea bargains. And so please go read those stories, and don't leave before you read those stories, okay? Thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting art that matters, stories that matter, movement that matters, okay? We'll see y'all next time. Peace.